Hi everyone, we're on season 3 of episode 2 of Marketing Ninja Unleashed, and I'm excited because today I have my very first guest of season 3, and it's my husband, Shan Patel. Shan is head of product at Ometis, a data and Snowflake expert, and someone who knows how to turn numbers into insights that actually drive decisions. We talk about where businesses should start with their data, the biggest mistakes they make, and why keeping it simple is often the smartest move. It's a mix of data, storytelling, and a little bit of fun. I hope you enjoy this one as much as we did recording it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Marketing Ninja Unleashed. I'm Rena, founder of You and Your Story. And today's episode is a special one because I've got my very first guest of season 3 joining me today. And it's not just any guest, it's my husband, Shan Patel. Shan is head of product at Ometis, a total data and Snowflake whiz, and somebody who lives and breathes turning numbers into insights. He's also an all-round good egg, although I might be a little bit biased. The reason I wanted Shan on today's episode was not just because I'm married to him, but also because I've spoken to a lot of business owners and marketers recently who seem to be winging it, and that makes me really nervous, especially when there's so much data available to use in your businesses. So in this episode, we're going to dive into Shan's world, data, product development, and why understanding the numbers behind your business can give you a competitive edge. And because he knows me better than anyone, it will probably be a bit of a laugh too. So Shan, let's start with you. For anyone listening who doesn't know what you do, can you tell us a bit about your role?
Thanks for having me on here, my first ever podcast interview. I'm glad it's with you. My role is all about helping businesses get the most out of their data. That means building products that make analytics easy to use and making sure we're taking the right strategic approach with their data. It's all about taking something that can be really complicated and making it accessible so businesses can actually use it to make better decisions.
Now, you're a bit of a Snowflake whiz, and I hear Snowflake a lot around the house. What is it, and why is everybody in the data world talking about it?
So, Snowflake is essentially a cloud-based data platform, but the reason everyone's talking about it is because of how easy it is to use and that it's a scalable and flexible solution. Businesses don't need massive infrastructure anymore. Snowflake lets you handle data of any size securely and only pay for what you use. It's changing the way companies think about managing and using data because it makes powerful analytics accessible to organizations of any size.
That's really interesting. Plus, they have that giant, cute Snowflake bear as well, which I have a mini version of thanks to your conference earlier in the year. So, you know me, I'm all about stories, but your world is all about data. I know how data and marketing work together, but how do you see those two coming together?
For me, data gives you the facts. It tells you what happened, but facts on their own don't stick. That's where stories come in. Stories explain why it matters and connect with people emotionally. When you combine the two, you've got credibility from the data and impact from the story. That's when your message really lands.
Yeah, there's that saying that is, people don't always remember what you tell them, but they will always remember how you made them feel. And that's where this really resonates and why it makes so much sense that data and marketing need to work together. A lot of my followers are small business owners or marketers. So if a small business is just getting started with using data, where would you suggest that they actually begin?
Start simple, really. Don't overcomplicate it or try and track everything under the sun. Look at what tools you already have. Google Analytics, your CRM, maybe even sales spreadsheets, and focus on a handful of metrics that can actually drive growth. When you see how small insights can change decisions, that's when you'll feel confident enough to go deeper.
Brilliant, thank you. So, what is one mistake that you see businesses making when it comes to data?
The big one is collecting everything without knowing why, and building reports that drive no value because that's the way it's always been done. You end up with a mountain of data but no clarity. The other is chasing vanity metrics, things like social media likes or impressions. They look good on paper but don't always mean your business is growing. It's much better to focus on conversions, retentions, or repeat customers, the things that actually bring in income.
That's so true. I see so many followers and so many people that are like, oh, I got 1,000 followers today, 1,000 people liked my post. Great. Did it actually bring you a client? No. Why are you still doing this? So many business owners focus on just getting themselves out there without actually thinking about the money. And I know you shouldn't focus on the money, but actually it is important. And that's why you're in business, because your passion needs to start earning money for you. And if it's not, you need to rethink what you're doing. Okay, so you've worked with a lot of businesses across different sectors. What do you think the most successful ones do differently with their data?
The most successful ones make data part of their culture. They don't just use it for reporting, they use it for decision making every day. They test ideas, measure results, and adapt quickly. It's that cycle of test, measure, refine that sets them apart. They're not guessing, they're learning as they go. The report you need right now may not be the same one that you needed last year or will need again next year. Look at what happened over COVID. It completely changed hospitality businesses and how people socialize. Using booking systems like Design by Night and 7 Rooms is much more common now than it ever was, because it helped businesses predict how many customers they're expecting in the future. This will only get more advanced over time.
So, I couldn't bring you on without asking you this. What is it really like living with a marketer?
Well, it's been a learning curve. I didn't fully understand marketing before, so having you constantly analyze companies, website, throwing random ideas at me, all pointing out good and bad ads wherever we go has shown me how much is involved, and it has been really fascinating. It keeps life interesting, especially when your content creation role means I can't eat without you taking a photo first.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I do have some really good photos and I need it for work, so it's got to be done. So my final question is for all my listeners. What is one piece of advice that you would give to business owners listening today about data?
Keep it simple. Don't think of data as a massive project that you need to tackle all at once. And remember, what you put in is what you get out, so the quality of your data needs to be thought about properly. Otherwise, you'll be making decisions based on incorrect information, and that's not going to get you anywhere.
That's so true. I've seen databases filled with email addresses that are incorrect and names that don't actually exist. You can see the word test in them, you can see the word competition entry in them, and it doesn't really give you anything to work with. So data quality 100% needs to be thought about right from the very beginning. That's the end of this interview. Thank you so much for being on Marketing Ninja Unleashed, Shan. I know you hear me talking to myself a lot, so it's great that you're actually involved and actually being interviewed for a change. So thank you very much, and I'm really hungry now. Are you going to make dinner?
Yes, I'll go make dinner, but thank you for having me on your podcast.
What I absolutely love about this conversation is that it reminds us that data isn't something scary or unreachable. It's just about asking the right questions and using what you already have to make better decisions. That's it for today's episode of Marketing Ninja Unleashed. It'll be back to the usual style for the next episode, and then I have another guest on the episode after that. Thank you so much for listening, and don't forget, You and Your Story is here to make sure your story is the one the world won't forget.
This has been a Monkey Pants Productions podcast.